Hey everyone, this amazing ESO Network show is brought to you by our fine sponsor, Amazon.com. Please remember to shop Amazon for all your geeky needs, no matter what time of the year it is. All you need to do is go to esopodcast.com/ESO Amazon, or click on the Amazon banner on the ESO Network webpage to go to our e-store. It's the best way to shop and the best way to support this program, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. Okay, that's enough of me babbling for now. Now on with your regular scheduled show.
Exploring the multiverse of pop culture.
This is Podcasserole.
An Adam and JP show.
Welcome to the Tuesday Podcasserole.
Welcome to the Smokehouse. That makes no sense. I'm sorry.
That makes me laugh so much. We do have a lot of inside jokes. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
There's, and I think it goes back to, for the longest time, really the point of this podcast was to try to make each other laugh.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. What better way to do that than with inside jokes that only you and I get?
Yeah.
And now that other people listen,
It's tough.
all
yeah.
10,
Yeah.
they don't get a lot of our
But
inside
we share them
jokes.
sometimes, and they get in on the in jokes. It's fun.
Yeah, I don't think Welcome to the Smokehouse is really worth explaining.
Not at all.
It will not be remotely funny to you.
Not at all.
Hey, coming up today, we're going to talk about our favorite Saturday morning cartoons from the 1980s.
Yeah.
We're going to live in the 80s.
Yep.
Some good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Where it all began. I think the heyday probably for
I was
Saturday
going to say the exact
cartoons.
same thing. Heyday
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I don't know why. 90s had some I looked up. I had some great ones in my head, and they were the 90s, but for the most part, 80s were the strong stuff. That's whenever the toy line tie-ins and the shows came in together, finally.
Well, that's when there was the deregulation in the FCC that allowed toy companies to advertise on children's programming and even create programming based around their toys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Which, sounds very evil and corporate, but
No, it worked. It was beautiful.
gave us lots of happy memories
Yes,
from
it did.
childhood.
Yes, it did.
Also, we'll do the SOB OTW coming up.
Right, it's always fun.
I want to briefly talk about something I did last week.
Okay.
I went to see Steve Martin and Martin Short live in concert.
How was that?
It was fantastic.
Yeah?
It was really, really entertaining.
Really?
A lot more Steve Martin than Martin Short.
Is it mostly music now, or what's the deal with that?
They come out, they do... It was very smart. They did exactly what I was hoping they would do. I did not want this to be two, a 66-year-old man and a 71-year-old man come out and try to do characters that they were doing 40 years ago. And it was none of that. They came out for about probably the first 20, 25 minutes. It was just them sitting on the stage together telling stories and that sort of thing, which was really cool. And then Steve Martin leaves the stage and Martin Short does some comedy songs. And he had Jimmy Kimmel's band leader.
Really?
The piano player was Martin Short's music guy, basically. And, he sang a little bit and then did some routines. And that's probably another 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the night was pretty much Steve Martin and the Steep Canyon Rangers.
Really?
Yeah.
So he's strictly a music guy now.
Pretty much.
That's crazy.
But
So
it
late
was
in his career.
great. It was great. It was a fantastic bluegrass concert
Huh.
for, I would say, the last hour of the show.
What was the crowd? What was the age of the crowd there? I'm curious if
was-
it was like young or old or.
It ranged.
Yeah.
I think since he's made that connection through that kind of Americana bluegrass
Yeah.
scene, I mean, it ranged from 19, 20-year-olds all the way up to 60, 70-year-olds.
That's awesome.
It was a huge spectrum of ages at that. And Kevin Smith is coming in.
Oh yeah.
October, I think.
Right.
To because it was at the Opry House, where they do the Grand Ole Opry. I've never been to the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah, me either.
But I've been to the Opry House for other things.
It's so funny. That's like a very touristy thing to do. Let's live our whole lives.
Never been to the Grand Ole Opry.
That's funny.
Yeah, but the Opry House is a great place to see a show.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I cannot say enough good things about that. You know what I also enjoyed?
What's that?
Me and my wife, we went to Dave & Buster's before because it's right there next to the Opry Mills huge mega mall. And there's a Dave & Buster's. And I had not been to Dave & Buster's in years.
Right, same here.
And we went and hung out at Dave & Buster's before the show. And I had a blast at Dave & Buster's.
Some good games there.
They're all good games.
Are they all
now.
like any classics or all modern day redemption games? What's it like?
They're all modern day games There were no classics.
Oh, not at all.
Well, there were classics, but they were retooled with a modern twist.
Okay.
But they're all big and 4D and all-encompassing, and it was. I had a blast.
I may go there very soon. I'm curious.
A lot of carnival-like games too.
Really?
Where you try to toss the ball or play skee ball for
Did you get some prizes?
Tickets and stuff. Well, my wife wants to go back for her birthday, and so she saved because everything's on a card.
Oh,
now.
yeah.
It's all card based. So she has all the points on her cards, and I was like, well, if we come back for your birthday,
save your points,
and you can get something real nice.
Get that stuffed animal up there.
Maybe you can get an Xbox One.
Oh yeah.
For 300,000 points.
All right. You've worked all at night and you have, maybe 1,800 points on there?
Yeah. So it was like, I think we bought $25 worth of tokens on the card. And we had enough to qualify for a $3 stuffed animal.
Yeah, that's how it
basically.
Works. That's how it works usually.
Yeah. I recommend Dave & Buster's.
I'm going to check it out soon.
It was so much fun.
I think tomorrow I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
You'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
You'll have a blast.
And spend a lot of money, huh?
There's a horse racing game.
I like that.
I know you like those horse racing
games. Do you
games.
get tickets based on what place you come in, or do you actually race it yourself? How does it work?
Yeah.
Are you betting on the racing, or are you racing yourself?
You're racing yourself.
Oh, okay.
So, but what you have to do is it's almost like a skee ball game at the same time. So you have a little ball, and you have to keep rolling it. And then whatever slot you go in, the horse either gallops or runs faster or but then there's the screen. You're watching a horse at the same time.
I was trying to think the last time I went there, and I just had a memory. Last time I went there was with you.
Yes, it was. That trip came up while we were there.
Really?
We both realized that was the last time we'd been to Dave & Buster's.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm knocking equipment over. That's funny. That just now hit me. That's funny.
Yeah.
That was 10 years ago? Almost 10?
It was an infamous trip to Dave & Buster's. That's just uncomfortable for everybody now.
Let's not speak of that. That never happened.
Let's not dwell on it. But we didn't bowl.
Yeah.
That's not true, though. I know of one other time I've been. I think we went to Dave & Buster's before going to the movies.
Really?
One time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
was it Dave & Buster's the time we went, or was it Julian's?
It was Jillian's.
Jillian, that's what it was.
Yeah, it was Jillian's. Yeah.
Wow. So
maybe, it wasn't even Dave & Buster's yet.
Yeah.
I think that may be the first time I've been there since it's been a Dave & Buster's.
Yeah.
The last time I was at that mall was to see a sneak peek of The Dark Knight Rises with producer Brian.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, in the IMAX.
That was like 3 producers ago. That was a long time. 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we like to do something every now and then on the show. Well, here lately it's been weekly because stuff keeps coming up.
It's a crazy time.
It's something that we like to call This Week in NWO News. So, a big subject in This Week in NWO News the last few weeks.
Huge subject.
Has been the bubbling up, the reoccurrence of the belief in flat Earth, the flat Earth theory, if you will.
Are people 100% serious when they say this, or are they joking around? What's the case?
Sometimes they're joking around, which was such the case with Shaquille O'Neal this week.
Yeah.
Big Yahoo News story. Shaquille O'Neal's a flat Earth.
No one knows when you're joking or not. You can't tweet that out and not make people believe it.
Well, this week, Shaq went on the Art of Charm podcast with AJ and Jordan Harbinger and cleared things up. He said that he is, in fact, and it's so brief that it's not even worth listening to. Basically, he said, I was kidding.
Wow.
If you don't know when I'm kidding, then you don't know me. And I was just joking. I believe the Earth is round. What was more fascinating about that appearance on that podcast is his involvement in law enforcement.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Apparently, he goes out with cops.
What?
He
can barely walk. How is that possible?
He says he has the rank of detective now with the LAPD.
Wow.
And he actually goes out with them on cases.
I've seen him trip so many times.
And
he's walking.
No. Trying to shoot a three-pointer.
Yeah.
And he says that he is trying, there's several states that he is basically being accredited as a law enforcement officer in, and that very soon he will run for sheriff, probably in Georgia.
It's like the Steven Seagal of the NBA.
I know he is.
Wow.
I'm Shaquille O'Neal. Don't have a Shaq attack. Did I ever tell you about that?
No.
On the Waze app, every now and then they'll do the celebrity voices that do your directions, and for a while it was Shaq.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't have a Shaqcident.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had C-3PO for a long time, but never knew Shaq was on there.
Goodness gracious me.
Yeah, exactly.
What was R2-D2? You would have no idea where.
Yeah, that'd be terrible.
What he was trying to tell you.
Tell me.
My favorite has been Colonel Sanders.
Oh, that's a good one, yeah.
That was always a favorite. Driving to Florida with Colonel Sanders giving directions the entire time.
Have you tried the boy band? It's not fun.
No, it's not
It's
fun.
not. Take a left. It's crazy. It is.
Shaq is up there, though.
Yeah.
Is a good one to have. I always say bring Shaq back.
I did some bad stuff this week.
No, let's hear it. Does that have to do with NWO?
No. Oh, you have more NWO?
Oh, I do have some NWO
Please
news.
continue. Please continue.
Well, thinking about the flat earther,
Yeah.
Shaq confirming that he is not, in fact, a flat earther.
Right.
It got me thinking about our old friend ODD.
Ah.
You remember ODD
Yeah, I
TV?
do remember ODD. Yeah, I remember
the
ODD.
YouTube channel?
Yeah.
So I went back to the channel to see what he's posted over the last month or so.
Yeah.
And he has an interview with an author by the name of Edward Hendry. And while I'm doing this, if you want to look up the name of some of these books,
Okay.
he wrote a book called 9/11 Enemies, a book called The Anti-Gospel, a book called Bloody Zion, and Babylon the Great is also the name of one of his books. And Edward Hendry is a huge flat Earth speaker. He has his own YouTube channel, and he was a guest of ODD on ODD's channel at ODD TV.
Wow.
Or Odd.
Yeah.
And they got to talking about, they discussed flat Earth for a little while, and then ODD brings up one of his favorite things to talk about, the Freemasons.
Another powerful organization that seems to pull a lot of weight, even though on the scale of the power pyramid is probably not, very close to the top, is the Freemasons. What do you think? Is Freemasonry creation of the Jews?
It is. It is actually a front by the Jews. If you read the protocols of the learned elders of Zion, which I believe are authentic, okay, and they use, and they explain in there that they use Freemasonry as a cloak for their conduct. Freemasonry is heathenism, which also Judaism is. Wow. The god of Freemasonry is Lucifer. And so when you look into Freemasonry, you'll see that it also leads right back to the Kabbalah.
Wow.
Now look,
wow.
This whole conspiracy stuff, it's fun, I guess. It's fun to say things like fake news. Anti-Semitism, not that funny.
Yeah.
And it really seems like old David Hendry here is kind of going down the anti-Semitism route, which to me seems a bit dangerous.
Right. Agreed.
I think. Just my opinion.
It's dangerous territory.
It is dangerous territory, especially in the time that we live in. Did you find anything about his books?
I did. So you can buy these on Amazon.com, of course.
Yeah.
And the reviews are interesting. Not only do they have, I looked up the anti-gospel, the perversion of Christ's grace gospel, and there are reviews on here, sometimes a 2-star review, and he goes on there and has a rebuttal to the 2-star review, a whole diatribe, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs long of how that person's review is wrong, and they go back and forth like an old YouTube comment section. It's just bickering back and forth for pages on here. It looks pretty interesting, though.
So the author is actually answering the negative reviews.
Someone gave a negative review, and he responded back saying, "You're wrong because of this."
Well, over the course of about 30 minutes, they talk about the flat Earth, and basically it comes down to, this goes back to, the early scientists.
Yeah.
And Hendry says that science is nothing but black magic. He says that earlier in the interview. And then he starts talking about Judaism and the Freemasons. And basically this is the story that Hendry tells ODD, is that the Jews invaded the Catholic Church, that the people that are over Judaism and the Catholic Church are all the same, and they're all evil, and it all traces back or has developed into Freemasonry in the West, is basically, in a nutshell, what Hendry says.
Wow.
Then, not only does he say that Freemasonry has invaded Judaism and Christianity and the Jesuits and the Catholic Church, there's another organization that the Freemasons have invaded.
What I can tell you is this idea of trying to conceal the flat Earth is brought about because they do serve a heathen god, and all of these gods, even Apollo it's another name for the devil. Okay, they even name their rockets after heathen gods.
So what about Apollo Creed?
He's the devil.
That's messed up.
He's the devil, Adam.
I don't believe this guy.
Apollo Creed is the devil.
I can't stand by this.
So basically what he's saying here is that the Freemasons invaded NASA. So NASA is just a wing of Freemasonry in the U.S. And that's why they named their rockets after the devil, not after Greek gods.
Yeah. Not in that way.
No, not in that way. The devil, Adam. Then
is Apollo a different word for the devil? I've never heard that before in my life.
I would have to research.
I'm going to do my research right now.
Apparently Henry did, and that is the conclusion he came up with. They also talk about how Satan is Saturn. Like when we think of Saturn, it's really Satan.
Like Perry Satan?
Yes, because his whole belief is there is no space. He'll tell you this in this next clip. There is no space. We are in a dome, and heaven is above us. And this whole idea of space and planets and stars, it's nothing what you think it is. He even explains what it really is when you look up and you see the stars at night, what you're really seeing.
And you can watch the stars and the planets. And what's very clear when you look at them is they are not terrestrial. They are light. There's some kind of light. And the suggestion when you look at them, the suggestion that comes to mind is they're in water. That it appears to be waves going across it. And I have actually seen a video of a wave going across the moon. It's the most amazing thing. So when you look at the blue sky, that blueness is water. That's my inference, and I get that from what the Bible says. I've never been up there, and that we've never been in space. There is no space.
Wow. I got deep fast. Or yes, not so deep because there's no depth.
There's no depth. There is no space.
So people that believe this idea, what is the point of even lying about it? For the so-called astronauts and scientists to say there is a space and more out there, for these conspiracy theorists, what do they believe is the reason for that lie?
They believe the reason for the lie is they want to discredit God. Or at least that's what this guy thinks.
I'm pretty sure you can be religious and believe in space at the same time, right?
But he says you can't.
Yeah.
That to say that there is space, to say that there is planets, to say there are stars is basically to discredit God.
Wow.
And it is these evil people on earth trying to destroy God in humans' minds.
Wow.
Is the reason why. And that's why they conceal that the earth is not round. Or that's why they say that the earth is round, and they conceal the fact that it is actually a flat earth under a dome, is what he says.
Wow.
There's one other clip from
that's deep, man.
From Mr. Hendry.
What about, clearly the vomit comment, that plane that takes a dip up there and it's not even real space. You have a couple $1,000 for today, you can do that ride. The airplane that goes way up the edge of the atmosphere and takes a big nosedive down. It's called the vomit comet.
People
get sick a lot
because you get a loss of gravity.
Yeah, for about 15 seconds you have zero gravity. So that right there, these aren't paid astronauts. These are normal dudes with a good bank account going up there doing this.
This interview is an hour long.
Yeah.
In the interview, he actually touches upon gravity.
Mm-hmm.
And he explains that gravity is just a theory and it's never been proven. There is no gravity. There is no such thing as gravity. There is no such thing as space.
So Isaac Newton is a Freemason.
Isaac Newton, he says Newton was one of the early evil entities on Earth that helped to create this whole lie that has been perpetrated for hundreds of years.
That's good.
Henry goes on to explain that rockets, when they take off from NASA, that they're just shooting them out over the ocean. And he even talks about one thing that he saw in a video once, but oddly enough, he can't find that video anymore.
And I think it's evidence that those rockets don't go into space, that they're shot off into the ocean, and that the ISIS space station is a big fraud. In fact, I saw a video one time where they were cutting to the International Space Station, and they cut to what appeared to be some kind of shed with a camera on a track with a globe next to it. And they said, "Oh, that's not the International Space Station," and then they cut away. And I've been trying to find that video. I saw it once, and I can't find it again.
Conveniently, I can't find the video.
Erased from existence.
Yeah. because the Illuminati destroyed that video when their lie about the International Space Station was revealed by accident to be a shed with a camera on a rail next to a globe.
That's just too much, man. That's too much.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So he thinks he's the only person in the world that knows this information.
Yeah. Well, ODD.
Oh, yeah. And so ODD is interviewing him, but believing this, is he telling him, or does he already have these thoughts and brought him on to tell the world?
ODD does a really good job of, in this interview, letting this guy speak.
Really?
And I think this guy is on a different level than he.
Yeah.
So anytime he expels these theories, all ODD can do is say, wow, that's a really good point. I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
That's basically his response
Yeah.
to just about everything. He does ask about the Star of David and the whole belief that that's some sort of, Freemason, evil, satanic symbol. And it's ridiculous.
Wow.
It is an hour of ridiculousness.
This all came from Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, pretty much. I did see which book did you look up of his?
The Anti-Gospel is what it was.
Is that the one that has the Star of David on the cover and then the sickle and the hammer from the old Soviet Union flag in the center?
No, this one has basically a skeleton on his knees praying.
Oh, yeah. So.
Wow. Okay, then.
There you go. That's this week in NWO News. What were you going to tell me? Something happened to you this week?
Terrible things like watched Iron Fist. Don't do that.
Oh,
Don't do that.
I haven't seen Iron Fist yet,
do it.
but I've heard nothing but bad news about it,
man.
or bad reviews about it.
Yeah, man.
Or bad news.
Wow.
Bad news, kids. Iron Fist sucks.
Yeah, pretty much. Jeez.
What's the problem you have with it?
Everything. I mean, it's bad. Really. It's bad.
I heard it's boring.
Bad acting, very boring. The fight scenes are terrible. They're slow. They seem like they're in slow motion. You can tell the guys just can't fight. Everything. The character itself, the plot, the villains. For once in a Netflix show, the villains aren't good whatsoever.
That's so...
it's sad.
But it's so weird.
Yeah.
Because they were hitting it pretty much out of the park
I know.
with every one of the
can't-
Netflix
no one's
Marvel.
100%, I guess.
That's true.
It's got to happen. So now I just wonder how the Defenders... I mean, it's, three good characters, maybe four if you count Punisher, compared to his one bad. But the actor is not so good. He's just some pretty boy from Game of Thrones. The problem I've read online is, like with Daredevil, the martial arts scenes are so fantastic is because, Charlie Cox isn't there. It's a guy, it's an actual stunt double that knows martial arts with a mask on. And you can't do that with Iron Fist because he's no mask.
Right.
Yeah.
Does he get the mask by the end?
I think. I'm pretty deep in. It doesn't have it.
Did you check out? Did you really? Because you said
that?
you were checking out. You couldn't finish it.
Yeah, I'm episode middle of 7.
Yeah.
And I just can't. I can't do it.
I've not read anything positive.
You should check it out.
about
Get your own opinion for it, but it's. I want you to see how bad it is yourself.
Because even all those up until this point, I watched as soon as they dropped.
Yeah, same here. That's what. Yeah,
I watched the Daredevil movies, Jessica Jones. I watched as soon as it came out.
And I was worried about that.
Luke
Even
Cage.
seeing the trailer, I believe 2 or 3 months ago, I saw that. I'm like, I don't know, man. This looks pretty bad. And now the worst fears are true.
Well, that's sad.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's probably not the same teams that have been behind the other shows.
No. Well, I think they're all kind of separate. I mean,
yeah, they're separate teams.
Every team's are different for each production.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I wonder who's going to oversee the Defenders movie.
I don't know. We'll see, huh?
I wonder if they do a second season, if they'll correct the course
Maybe so.
for Iron Fist.
But even Jessica Jones was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. But
It was
this
really
no.
good.
I mean, it's sad because Iron Fist and Luke Cage was my first comic I ever got, ever.
Yeah.
Iron Fist, Luke Cage. So that I'm not a huge fan of the character, but that character has some meaning to me.
Heroes for Hire.
Yeah. And to see that, it's like, ooh, no, never.
That's sad.
But check it out yourself. Why haven't you watched it? Are you afraid?
I just haven't had time this week
Do
to
it.
watch it.
Just give it give it 2 episodes. You'll see.
Yeah.
It gets no better.
You'll see.
No better. And the dialogue is just so bad. It's so much of just the exact same thing in circles over and over again.
Do they do the crossover with the other characters from the other shows?
So
Rosario Dawson has to be in it.
I'm sure that I saw that in the previews, but I haven't seen her yet.
Yeah.
So far, the one I've seen is Hogarth, Carrie-Ann Moss from Jessica Jones. She comes and helps him with some law stuff. That's about it so far.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, the old return of Carrie-Ann Moss. You want to see that character of Hogarth again.
She sounds like a magician.
Yeah, the amazing Hogarth.
Watch me pull a chicken out of my sleeve.
Yeah, but come back next week and let me know what you think of the first few episodes.
Yeah, I'll watch the first few.
And
at
watch
least between now and then.
because they try for that classic Marvel Netflix series, the hallway fight scene, and it is bad.
It just doesn't work.
It's slow motion. It's slow. It's so slow. Not as in like.
Oh, you think they did it in slow motion because you can't because it's
if so
choreography so bad?
Maybe, but it's just so. It's like you and I with 2 weeks of training could do that choreography. I'm not joking.
So do you think they just didn't train him up for this, or
why would they not? I'm sure they had at least 6 months prior to get him ready for it.
You would think.
It's bad. He's got this big bad fake beard at the beginning of it. Oh, it's so bad. It's embarrassing to watch. But I'm trying to finish it. But I had to check it. I'm like, the white flag was raised. I couldn't do it. It's terrible.
That's terrible.
And I don't know. I'm sure it's out there. I'm not saying it's unanimously bad, but personally, I don't know one person anywhere that said it's good.
I've only seen a couple of reviews in defense of Iron Fist.
Really?
And they were basically the headline was
not as bad.
This
as
is why Iron Fist isn't as bad as people say it is. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's not my style.
But I'll watch a few episodes for next week.
Yeah.
You want to do the SOB OTW?
Let's do it.
It's very easy to be the SOB of the week.
So simple.
The SOB OTW.
So simple.
You just have to reach out to us.
Online interaction, that's what it's all about. Facebook, Twitter, even Instagram if we still use that.
Did we have a request to actually be the SOB OTW this week?
We did have a request.
Oh, okay.
Does that count?
I think that can count.
Does that count?
That can count.
Okay. So I guess the SOB OTW this week is on Twitter at Bree Poe.
Yeah.
Is our official son of the bitch of the week.
She asked to be it.
Yeah. You asked for this.
You asked for it.
Not our fault.
No. Don't blame me.
Check her out at Bree Poe on Twitter. I believe there's some maybe a 0 in there instead of an O. I think it's kind of crazy like that.
Yeah.
Bree Poe on Twitter.
I do maybe a secondary SOB OTW this week.
Okay, do that. Yeah.
I do have an email that I want to share with you that came in from Joe Berman. Joe is the founder and CEO of Pod to Pod. And the subject is Nice Podcasting Story. Hey, JP, I recently saw the article about your podcasting story by Chuck Dolphin and the Tennessean. We featured the article on our Slack group. I really like this quote and think it really sums up part of the appeal to podcasting. Quote, I think in a day where we tweet in limited characters and our attention span seems to be getting shorter and shorter, conversation seems to be getting lost, that's something we strive for on our podcast is that it's just real conversation, end quote.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever read a quote
of yourself?
Of myself using quotation marks.
Yeah. I guess you still have to, maybe?
I guess.
To make it
real?
To
quote myself. So really nice, sweet things that that Joe put in this email. A little bit about Pod to Pod. We started off as an email newsletter covering the podcasting world. We've evolved from there to an industry website with all sorts of goodies for podcasters. You can find them at podtopod.com. That's PODTOPOD.com.
Nice.
So Joe, another SOB OTW.
A double SOB OTW?
Yeah, we got to double it. We got to double up this week.
What a week.
Anybody else that we've had interactions with that we should?
A lot of people, a lot of Follow Fridays, a lot of new podcasts. A lot of good stuff, really. In general, way too many to mention, but we have 2 this week. That's all we need.
You can find us at adamandjp.com. If you want to send an email, just go to adamandjp.com. Right there on the contact tab is a form where you can fill it out and it gets sent right to us.
That's true.
Or on Twitter.
Yeah, always tweet us at adamandjp, and of course, like I said, adamandjp.com. You know what? Check out Patreon. Patreon.com/podcastroll, and you can become a patron yourself. We have some new joiners this week. Much appreciated.
We're going to go back to the 1980s.
Oh, yeah. Saturday morning.
In the 1980s.
Next.
Hey guys, are you looking for a new podcast to listen to? Something a little on the geeky side, but lots and lots of fun with some crazy dudes? Well, have I got something for you. It's called the Vitamin Geek Podcast. I'm the host, Corey Keelan, and I'm here with my friends Eric Williams.
What's up?
Patrick Sykes.
Greetings, everyone.
And Michael Zippy Miller.
Hey there.
We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. Horror movies, science fiction. We love Star Wars. Who doesn't love Star Wars? If you don't like Star Wars, get the hell off of here. Check us out, man. Vitamin Geek Podcast right here on the ESO Network.
It's all part of the plan.
Overture, curtain lights. This is it. We'll hit the heights. And oh, what heights we'll hit. On with the show. This is it.
Of course, the Looney Tunes theme song.
Yeah.
not really an 80s cartoon, but still
timeless.
Pretty prominent through the 1980s.
Yeah, throughout the 80s, for sure.
And it was repackaged in the 1980s under several names. The Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner Show, Bugs Bunny / Looney Tunes Comedy Hour, usually on ABC, which showed the Looney Tunes cartoons. And it was it was towards the end of the 1980s that you started getting the edited versions of the Looney Tunes cartoons, where they would actually edit out some of the violence.
Really?
Yeah, by 88 or 89.
Heard of that
They were
story.
starting to do that.
That's funny.
Like where the Wile E. Coyote would be chasing the Roadrunner, and he'd go off a cliff, and then, just for example, in the original, you'd see him fall and hit, and then you would never see him hit. You just kind of see him fly off the cliff.
Wow.
And then they'd cut to the next thing.
That's funny.
Yeah, they started editing Looney Tunes cartoons in the 1980s.
Wow. That is weird.
But like you said, timeless and one of my favorites.
What happened to the stock of Warner Brothers in general? I mean, the idea of a Bugs Bunny, because when I was growing up, Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse, Warner Brothers and Disney were honestly in the same playing field.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's no contest whatsoever.
You know what I blame?
What's that?
Space Jam.
You think so? No. Do you think? I think it sounds ridiculous, but I would say in less than 20 years, I think Disney buys Warner Brothers. I think so.
Just straight out?
Yeah, just buys the whole. I mean, think that whole.
Wow.
What does Warner Brothers have? They can't live off of old Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies forever. And as we see now, even their cinematic stuff, I mean, it's making some money, I guess, but how long will that last? I don't know if they have the properties to stay afloat in today's economy with all the stuff they have.
Mark it down on your calendar.
Yeah, I think in less than 20 years, Disney buys Disney buys Warner Brothers.
March 28th, 2017.
Yep.
Adam predicts Disney buys Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
In the next decade, you say?
Next two decades.
Oh, 2 decades.
Next 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to happen. Warner Brothers will be one of the few or one of the many under the Disney umbrella. It's going to happen.
Take me back, Adam. Take me back to the 1980s.
I'll take you there.
A very young Adam.
Yeah.
Would get up on Saturday morning. What would be your breakfast of choice?
The thing about this is a lot of these shows we'll talk about had a certain cereal that went along with it.
That's true.
I'll start off with a good one.
Okay.
A classic one of mine. And I know we're going for mostly animated here, but this is kind of an in-between of both. And the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, based on the Super Mario Brothers video game from NES, started off with a live-action Captain Lou Albano as Mario, with a crazy kooky sidekick of Luigi, and the crazy guest of the week would come into their little apartment and do crazy things, and they would intro us into the actual Mario Brothers episode of the week. And I love the show. Did you ever watch the Super Mario Brothers Super Show?
Let's see the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
It was good. I believe, at least as far as last year, the whole thing was on Netflix, and it's even more ridiculous than you remember. Every single thing has a sound effect to it. Every step they take on the stairs, every wrist movement, it's got a sound effect.
So a lot of Foley in this show.
It's stupid sound effects.
Wow.
Stupid amounts.
I haven't seen it in probably 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Really?
Was the last time I watched
it. Go back
it.
and check it because it's crazy.
It's kooky.
It is. But it stands out to me as a classic.
So you would eat Super Mario Brothers cereal while you watched?
They did have that.
Super Mario Brothers.
And play the game. I was just engulfed in my Super Mario undies with my Super Mario sheets.
Wearing a Super Mario Brothers hat.
I was engulfed.
Holding a plunger.
I was totally engulfed in the movie, the game, everything. So it was great.
I was a pretty big fan of the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
I do. They had a lot of actually commercials for that and the Zelda cartoon during Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Yeah. And basically the whole premise of the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon is that some teenagers go on a Dungeons and Dragons ride and somehow get transported to the actual Dungeons and Dragons realm, and they're stuck there.
Yeah.
And so they have to become these characters. The nerdy kid becomes a sorcerer.
Right.
And, the buff kid becomes the champion and that sort of stuff.
Fear not, ranger, barbarian, magician, thief, cavalier, and acrobat.
Who was that?
That was Venger, the force of evil. I am Dungeon Master, your guide in the realm of Dungeons and Dragons.
That wasn't very many seasons, though, right? Just a few?
Oh, maybe 3?
Yeah.
But it was on CBS, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Yeah.
Based off the popular role-playing game at the time that parents hated.
Yeah.
Were your parents like, well, probably not.
No.
Yeah. There was no, let me tell you, in my household, there was no Dungeons and Dragons playing.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know it was like that. Really?
Yeah.
For D&D?
No D&D.
Wow.
First time I played D&D, I was in college.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
I guess I could have maybe played in high school, but here's how bad I was. I wasn't even cool enough for the D&D kids.
Whoa, that's not possible. That's like coming from those people, we're the lowest of the low, right?
But I had a group of friends that would play D&D, and I was never invited.
Wow.
And I would say, hey, man, can I play with you guys? Oh, well, we'd have to create your character.
Wow.
And everybody's been playing for a while.
Maybe you were cooler than you thought, and you weren't invited because you were too cool. You ever think about that?
I don't think that was the case.
You play the trombone, not the tuba. Think of it like that.
Thanks for cheering me up.
1986, I want to talk about one of my favorite cartoons of all time. Not just the 80s, not just Saturday morning cartoons, but one of my favorite cartoons of all time. And The Real Ghostbusters comes out that year. I love it so much. I would say, I'm going to say I love it more than the movies, but as a whole, I mean, it's given me more fun. I love the cartoon series. Had a fantastic toy line spawned off of that. The classic Ghostbusters station. It was all good stuff based off of the real Ghostbusters themselves in 86.
I would say that it's probably the real Ghostbusters that made Slimer this really likable character.
Yeah, he's a good guy here.
That when you got around to the actual second Ghostbusters movie, Slimer is kind of a good guy in the movie.
Even in 2016 Ghostbusters, the reboot, remake, Answer the Call, sequel, whatever we call it this week.
Whatever it's called
he was a good guy and lovable. And we have Ecto Cooler because of the show as well.
That's true.
Love Ecto Cooler.
Did you see the VR game has come out? The Ghostbusters VR game?
I saw a small clip of scrolling on Facebook, but I haven't watched it yet.
I haven't heard anything about it. Any reviews.
Weird, huh? But yeah, it's weird. You probably know this by now, but Arsenio Hall plays the voice of Winston, of course, Winston Zedmore. It's sad, though, because Ernie Hudson himself wanted the part and was denied.
Denied.
The actual guy is the voice of Winston Zedmore in the movie, wanted to play the voice role, was not allowed because Arsenio Hall was there instead.
And Dave Coulier was Peter Venkman.
For a while, he was. The first season or two. Yeah.
Real Ghostbusters is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Better than the Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah, totally. For sure.
It's all about the real Ghostbusters.
Real all day. What a weird mix-up of things, Just weird.
Do you remember the cartoon classic Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling?
Oh, I do. I do.
This is one of my favorites in the mid to late 80s.
Yeah, this was when wrestling was king.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, something about the 80s, wrestling was just not, I don't know, was it frowned upon back then? I feel like now it's frowned upon.
Well, to not get too far into wrestling,
yeah.
I think it's Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon was just able to take this kind of...
Did he ruin it?
He didn't ruin it. You ruined it. He made it great.
Yeah.
He made wrestling great again.
Yeah.
This kind of, shady sideshow carnival thing that professional wrestling was, and he did make it this mainstream acceptable form of entertainment where he created superheroes and bad guys, and it's these characters that were created for the ring that, because they were bigger than life, because Hulk Hogan was a superhero, it just naturally progressed into a mediocre cartoon series.
Yeah, as the namesake goes, I mean, the early days of that wrestling was heavily involved with not just rock and roll music, but pop culture and music in general. I mean, Captain Lou teaming up with Cyndi Lauper, and you have Mr. T coming in, and these are big deals back in the 80s. Those are big names. Liberace.
That's true. He did have Liberace.
Big names.
Muhammad Ali.
Exactly, yeah.
Who was the main bad guy? Was it?
Oh, man, it's been a long time.
It was the Iron Sheik, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Wasn't the Iron Sheik? Because at the time, Andre was still a good guy.
Right, yeah.
So Hogan and Andre were buddies on the cartoon.
Yeah.
And then you had like the Iron Sheik and Rowdy Piper were some of the main bad guys.
Uncle and you, wimp, we want to talk to you.
Well, Mr. Piper, Iron Sheik, as I'm sure you can see, I'm having lunch right now. Perhaps later.
You're always saying the good things about that stupid Hogan and bad things about us.
Yes, for very good reasons.
Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling.
He's had some bad stuff tied to his name. For being one of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time, I can think it's a fun cartoon, but pretty rough.
Oh, it's terrible.
And as far as, some games he's done with his name on there, some video games, some of the worst video games ever.
Some of the worst movies ever.
Hulk Hogan's name tied to them. That's sad, isn't it?
No Holds Barred.
Oh, but wow, man.
Suburban Commando.
What was that? Something Island? Something Paradise? What was it called?
Thunder Island.
Was it Thunder Island?
It was a TV show.
Paradise something. What is Thunder in Paradise?
Thunder in Paradise.
Yes, that's
it.
There we go. That's the one. Oh, Thunder in Paradise.
A souped-up army boat.
Oh, man. That's rough. No, was it his episode on Baywatch we love so much?
Was it him?
Macho Man, right?
And Macho Man and Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart's in that episode.
They're on the
baby.
on the
Come on, baby.
on the, like the
Yeah,
jet
baby.
ski. Remember?
Yeah.
They run over the guy and kill him, and
they did all the voicing. You could tell that they did voices and pose.
And Vader and Flair come out in their limousine later and bully them around on the beach. That's pretty good. That's on YouTube, by the way. The whole episode's on Netflix or on YouTube.
Just search Hulk Hogan Baywatch.
Oh man. So I love the idea, the concept, and the art, and everything except for the script of Thundercats. I'm a huge Thundercats fan. And I go back and watch.
You don't think the cartoon was very good?
I loved it.
Yeah.
But I go back now and watch it, and those storylines are not so good. Not so good whatsoever. If you want to hear more about Thundercats, you can check out Collection Connection from about 2 or 3 weeks ago. They went pretty in-depth on the Thundercats series. Were you a fan of Thundercats at all?
No. Actually, I was not.
Really?
Thundercats kind of missed me.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't really watch a lot of Thundercats.
Uh-huh.
I watched a lot of G.I. Joe in the afternoons. I watched a lot of Transformers.
Yeah. Hey, save it.
Sorry.
You're shooting it all here.
Sorry. But that's why I didn't watch them on Saturday mornings.
Really?
Those were like weekday shows that I watched.
Really?
G.I.
Okay.
Joe and Transformers.
Yeah.
And but yeah, Thundercats kind of missed me.
Yeah, I gotcha. Weird little story I talked about with you guys off the air here, but such a big fan of Thundercats. My first day of school, senior year of high school, I wore a Thundercats logo T-shirt, and for some reason, this was around school shootings were really big, and they were weird about what you could and couldn't wear at school. If you had any kind of questionable logo on your shirt or clothes, you were sent home to change. My first day at school, I wore my brand new Thundercats shirt, my senior year of high school, and they sent me home.
Why?
The principal saw me and sent me home to change clothes. I have no idea why.
What was on it?
The Thundercats logo. It was a black T-shirt with a red Thundercats logo.
That's it.
I got sent home to change that. To this day, I'm confused about it.
Wow.
I don't know why.
I remember when I was in high school, kids would get sent home because they were wearing Guns N' Roses tour T-shirts.
Oh, like naked girls and stuff?
Oh, yeah. And worse.
Yeah. They tried to do stuff like that. There was what was his name? Like Big Dick Rides, something like that. And there was a guy named Chit Rodriguez. People wear, and he's a little driving guy in a race car. I drive fast as Chit, stuff like that. You get away with that, but I can't wear my Thundercat shirt.
I thought this was a democracy.
Big Johnson's Lumber, stuff like that.
I remember those shirts.
Yeah.
I remember those.
But my Thundercats doesn't work.
Yeah.
Whatever, Dr. Kessler. Principal, I don't care.
Wow.
What?
Calling out your principal.
Yeah, no big deal.
You still got a grudge.
It just hit me last night, by the way. I got a notification in an email for my 15-year class reunion, and it hit me then. I've been out of grade school longer than I was in there. And that hurt me when I realized that.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
Wait till you start getting like twice.
Because to me, that's
staring down 3 times as long.
That's a major part of my life, what made me who I am.
Yeah.
And the fact I've already been out of that longer than I was there, it's crazy to me. But we're back.
I have a reunion this year.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
That makes sense. Yeah,
25.
Yeah, 25.
Oh, my gosh.
Did that hurt you to say that? Are you in pain right now?
I'm having a stroke.
You need an antacid?
Well, I'm at that age.
Your nuts had salt, didn't they?
I would like to show you something to go back to
that's funny.
Our conversation about the Louisville Arcade Expo.
You do have a big bucket of unsalted nuts.
Would you like some?
No, I'm all right. I like the salt of my nuts.
Some unsalted cashews?
I like my nuts to be salty.
Okay. What were we talking about?
80s cartoons. We just did Thundercats and the T-shirts.
In the 1980s, you had a Spider-Man cartoon, which was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
You also had a Hulk cartoon that was pretty good. In the 1980s, NBC created an hour-long series that was The Incredible Hulk and Spider-Man.
The Amazing Spider-Man and The Incredible Hulk.
And it was an hour block, and you'd get one Spider-Man cartoon and one Incredible Hulk. And then this would become Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, which was the same concept, but that's when they brought in Iceman and Firestorm. And to me, that is my favorite Spider-Man cartoon of all time.
Really? That's the one, huh?
The ones with Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Yeah. With Iceman and Firestorm. Mm-hmm. Firestorm created just for the show.
Right, yeah. Kind of the Harley Quinn of that series.
Yeah. And then kind of became a fun comic character.
Yeah. Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I don't know.
And you get great Hulk stories, too.
Yeah.
And the Incredible. That's kind of weird, though, don't you think? Looking back. Like, if you're going to pick 2 heroes.
Yeah, which, I think Spider-Man in the comics was big at the time, probably, and Hulk, just a few years removed from his series.
From the TV show, right.
So I guess that's what happened there. But was that intro reused? Because that seemed so much older. Just the sound of that guy's voice. I feel like he should be
Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
It's like an announcer for like the I Love Lucy show or something. I don't get it.
I don't know. I know Stan Lee would actually do the voiceover intros for each Spider-Man episode.
Yeah. You say you like action? You say you like thrills? Well, hang in there, heroes. Today's adventure was webbed up especially for you.
True believers.
Yes, true believers. I don't remember him saying Excelsior that much in those intros, though.
Yeah.
He would say true believers a lot.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
That's
and
funny.
it was so 1980s because, what was it, when Spider-Man fought Electro, Electro was in a video game. Came out of like a Spaced Invaders.
Like an awesome Pong graphic video game.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. And Electro's inside the arcade game.
Wow.
So he's terrorizing the arcade.
Terrorizing the pixels. All 4 of them.
I think I could be dreaming, but I think there was an episode where he somehow got Spider-Man trapped inside a video game.
Really?
And it was a Pong type game.
Oh no,
because he's like avoiding the ball and the paddles.
Who doesn't love the classic dream sequence from the Muppets Take Manhattan? So why not have a whole spin-off cartoon called the Muppet Babies based on that toddler dream sequence from that movie? I used to love this show. I'm not going to lie. They basically made their own plots. Nothing really happened. It was all in their imaginations, all the while seeing their nannies' ankles.
So Muppet Babies was what, 85, 86?
6, 7?
Maybe 84?
Yeah.
It was on for a long time.
It was, yeah.
Muppet Babies were still on in the 90s.
I love Muppet Babies. I'll stand by it.
And it was cool because they would find themselves in adventures that would end up being all owned by Disney.
Oh, yeah.
Because think about it. At the time, Jim Henson Productions wasn't owned by Disney.
Right,
It is now.
Yeah.
But it was Jim Henson Productions. Lucasfilm owned Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and a lot of the Muppets, well, not a lot, but the Muppet Baby Adventures would have like a Star Wars, Indiana Jones feel to it.
That's true, yeah.
In 2017,
weird, it's all one big thing.
Disney owns Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and the Muppet Babies.
And coming soon, Warner Brothers. I promise you it's going to happen.
In 2030, Warner Brothers.
Yeah. But yeah, Muppet Babies was fun for what it was. Their nanny, remember their nanny they talked about, but you never saw, just her legs?
Uh-huh.
Was that nanny as in their housekeeper or as in their grandmother? What was the nanny term?
I thought it was just their babysitter.
You think so?
That was the impression I always got.
Okay, I never knew. Well, you can't. I mean, if your first thought is, well, one's a pig, one's a frog, they can't have the same grandmother, but it's possible.
I guess
we have talking animal babies. We can't suspend disbelief that much. Come on. That's all I'm saying.
I always thought it was their babysitter.
Yeah.
Like it was the nanny in the sense that every day they were in the same.
And they just got bored and created their own adventures, pretty much?
Yeah.
I love that song so much.
I'm going to go with my next one. Let's just get this out there. Probably one of the biggest cartoons of the 1980s was the Smurfs.
Right, yeah.
Sing a happy song. La 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 la, Smurf the whole day long.
What was the? And I watched it. I don't have too many memories of it. Honestly, was it a kind of an adventure of the week to kind of make you a better child for watching it? Was it like a moral story to it, or was it like a weird adventure to get away from the bad guy? What are we talking with?
It was a combination.
Okay.
There would be moral stories to it, and you would learn. You shouldn't be vain like vanity.
Uh-huh.
You shouldn't be angry like grumpy or grouchy. I don't know what was the angry Smurf?
Let's say grouchy.
Grouchy. I don't think it was grouchy.
Asshole Smurf.
Maybe.
Let's say that. He had the brown hat.
But then there was also them trying to get away from Gargamel,
right?
And
Yeah.
Osriel, his
Yeah.
cat, who was always trying to find the Smurf village.
Yeah.
Which were mushroom houses.
That's true. So here, I have a question for you here. The stuff we've talked about with Spider-Man, Incredible Hulk. We've talked about Ghostbusters. We talked about Muppets. But all of these here are kind of pre-existing franchises. But this Smurfs was clearly its own original IP here.
Yes,
So-
it was. I think it blossomed in the 80s,
Yeah.
but I think the first Smurfs was in the 70s.
Really? Yeah.
Probably like 78 or 79.
But it's just so odd. And even for that time, 30-plus years ago, it's kind of unusual to have this. It's a weird pitch, you go to a boardroom like, okay, small people, all blue, one girl, old man. Let's make it work.
Well, they made Smurfette.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was just all men.
That's true.
Or males. That just sounded weird. Now that I think about it, that is a really strange cartoon.
Yes, it is. That's what I'm saying. The pitch had to be odd for
There's
it.
no girls. Let's make one.
Just one, though.
Because Papa Smurf made Smurfette.
He made, yeah.
I think.
How did he make her?
Oh,
How do they procreate?
He cast a spell.
How do they procreate?
I don't know.
I need answers.
I don't think they do.
Do they have eggs?
No.
Maybe.
I don't know.
What are we playing with here?
Power?
It just seems like
Black magic?
Almost all these, and I have a whole list left, and every single one I look at is based off something pre-existing for the most part. It's an odd thing. The Smurfs got that famous. It's like I see the appeal of a California Raisins. I don't see the appeal of a Smurf, just from standing out from the outside.
What about the Snorks? They were pretty big, too.
Yeah.
Pretty popular.
Yeah, Snorks fan.
That was an original 1980s creation, the Snorks.
Yeah.
Basically, the Smurfs underwater.
True, with bigger noses.
With bigger noses.
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
What's
that
your
weird,
next one?
That fantasy style is made-up creatures that are small, like microscopic, was a big draw back then. How about Disney's Adventures of the Gummy Bears? Did you ever watch the Gummy Bears back then?
I did not watch the Gummy Bears.
Dashing and daring, courageous and caring, faithful and friendly with stories to share. All through the forest they sing out in chorus, marching along as their song fills the air.
Keep in mind, this is spelled Gummi, not even in the same way as the edible gummy bears we know and love. Not the treat. They're their own gummy bears. That doesn't even go into that. Disney's Adventures of the Gummy Bears follows a family of bears that get into problems, and the only way to get out of those problems is to drink their gummy berry juice they have vials of in their hip. And they shoot it back like a shot of whiskey, and they can then bounce on the earth as if it's a big trampoline that always gets them out of trouble in the Gummy Bears Adventures.
So basically this was to promote drug addiction.
Some say that, some say steroids. That was back in the 80s, in the big juicing days. They said that was like a metaphor for juicing, because they would knock back the gummy bear juice, and they could do anything they want.
Well, Popeye would eat spinach.
I was going to say, you can go back as far as that and say that was his own drug. So whatever you want to say, Pac-Man had his power pellets, Popeye had the spinach, the gummy bears had their damn gummy berry juice. Sorry, I got mad about that.
But Popeye eating spinach was supposed to get kids to eat spinach, right?
Well, Hulk Hogan taking his vitamins, wanted them for their vitamins too, right?
Yeah.
But he had his steroids. Do you remember Hulk Hogan's own line of vitamins? Yeah, check that out.
Were they like Flintstone kids?
Pretty much, yeah.
10 million strong.
Yeah. But he had his own Hulk Hogan vitamins shaped like his face.
Oh, that's weird.
But yeah, go on YouTube, check out the Disney's Adventures of Gummy Bears. The theme song alone is good enough for a sell.
He also had his ice cream. Remember the WWE ice
I
cream?
love the Superstar. They were great.
Yeah.
They were so good.
They were good.
Yeah.
And expensive.
Oh yeah, big time.
No, I never watched the Gummy Bears.
Yeah.
But I did watch Alf, the cartoon.
Oh yeah.
Based off the situation comedy Alf.
Right.
But this was more like obviously in animated form. Alf didn't have to be behind a counter the entire time.
Yeah.
So you would see him walking around. And it was Alf on Melmac. So you learned a lot about Melmac and, cat baseball and lots of stuff they couldn't do in a cartoon these days.
You don't think so?
No. They're an alien race and their favorite pastime is a game where you throw cats and hit them with a bat.
That's true. You're right.
You couldn't do that. But in the 1980s, we got Alf the cartoon.
That's pretty awesome. You're a big Alf fan. You love the Alf.
I do love Alf.
1987, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon comes out. Huge franchise. You can't deny the scale and scope this franchise had. Many comics based off of the cartoon series itself, video games, just many things. I mean, I used to go to Burger King on Fridays, and I was part of the Kids Club, the Burger King Kids Club.
Well, a super secret society known as the Kids Club.
And I would get VHS tapes of this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series. And they'd have, 2 episodes per tape, and I would come home and just study those and be obsessed and just treat those as my Ninja Turtles shrine. But I loved that old series. Did you ever watch that at all?
I watched a bit of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Yeah.
the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
To go back to last week's show or last Friday's show when we were doing our favorite movies of 1993,
Yeah.
I was honestly expecting you to say the
I don't
Teenage
like
Mutant Ninja Turtles sequel.
3 is terrible to me.
Yeah, the third one.
I love, 2 is my favorite one.
Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah, I love Secret of the Ooze. 1 is really good, but 3 is not even worth talking about to me.
Yeah.
I'll stand by it.
Oh.
Yeah, but Ninja Turtles cartoon, fantastic.
Much like we started this with when we were talking about the Looney Tunes cartoons, where you would get, it's an established show that just kind of would be repackaged and updated periodically. The same thing happened with the Super Friends. And I would say if there was one show I watched consistently on Saturday mornings, it was Super Friends.
Yeah.
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's 4 greatest heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the universe. Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman,
they would show some of the older versions of Super Friends, but it was also in the 1980s where you got the Power Twins and their monkey Gleek. That was part of the Super Friends. That was part of the 80s incarnation of Super Friends.
Yeah.
And
I never watched that. I never did.
Yeah, that was another one that had a great voiceover. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, which was the actor. I can't think of his name. He was on Mary Tyler Moore.
I don't know.
He was the newscaster on Mary Tyler Moore.
No idea.
Last name Knight.
Bobby.
No. Michael.
Wayne.
No, not Wayne. I'll have to look it up.
No idea.
But he was the Super Friends voiceover guy.
No idea.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
Punky.
Punky.
That was the same voice. I love. No, this is 99% live action, but a small 1% did have some animation to it. And I've got to talk about Paul Reubens and Pee-wee's Playhouse. Got to talk about that.
Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Love it so much. One of my favorites.
My niece was up within recent time, the last couple of years. And we have season 1 and season 2 of Pee-wee's Playhouse on DVD, and she had never seen it. And I was like, you should watch Pee-wee's Playhouse. It's awesome. It was one of my favorites when I was a kid because I loved it just like you did.
Now, at the time, she's a late teenage female, correct?
Yeah, correct.
That's a problem, but continue.
So, we pop in a couple episodes of Pee-wee's Playhouse. It creeped her out.
I'm sure.
She said, I am totally creeped out by this.
The whole series is on Netflix now, too, the whole thing.
Yeah, I encourage her to go and watch the entire series on Netflix.
Has she watched his new movie yet? She probably wouldn't do that, right?
What's this new one?
The movie, what's it?
Oh, yeah, the Netflix.
Big Vacation,
yeah. I doubt it. Oh, no, I know she did because I asked her when it came out. Pee-wee's got a movie out on Netflix.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's got I'll see it in there from True Blood.
But yeah, she said she was creeped out by Pee-wee's Playhouse.
I can see that, but as a younger person than that, it's good.
Paul Reubens takes this, which was really intended for adults, to be a parody of a children's show,
right?
As a stage production, and then was an HBO special for a while. Did he do like a short run HBO series?
And it was almost a little more adulty. That one was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, well, it's very adult. And then they were able to turn that into a kids TV show on Saturday mornings.
Right, and a lot of soon-to-be stars would be in that show itself. I mean, Phil Hartman, who else? I mean,
Cowboy Curtis was
Morpheus. I forget his Lawrence Fishburne. There we go, yeah.
Thank you.
And it's just a great all-around. It was so creative for kids to see that and design and just get their minds going. I love it so much. Big fan.
What was the genie's name?
Oh, man. I should know this. I've forgotten.
Micka-licka-hi, Micka-licka-ho.
We'll say that.
Micka-licka-hi, Micka-licka-honey-ho-ho.
I'll know it in 5 minutes, but I'll forget that I should have known.
There was Cherry.
Yeah, Cherry was good.
There was the Globe.
Miss Yvonne was... So when I was a kid, she was... She was pretty hot to me, right?
You had a crush on Miss Yvonne?
I look back now, I'm like, oh, God, what was I thinking? What was wrong with me, Miss Yvonne?
I wonder who played the original Miss Yvonne on HBO.
I think that was the exact same the whole time. Same
really?
Time, yeah. I'm pretty sure, because she was even in all of his earlier movies, too.
Yeah.
In Big Adventure and Big Top Pee-wee, she was in all those.
What was the genie's name? It was just his head in a box.
I'll look it up. But what's cool about I used to have fond memories. So in '86, they used to, at the very end of Pee-wee's Playhouse, they would have commercials for the upcoming, like, stay tuned for the Teen Wolf cartoon coming up next. And man, you told me a Teen Wolf cartoon was coming? We were in good times.
I'm there the entire time.
Ooh, that's a problem.
What is his name? Jump.
Oh, jump. Oh, I'm almost there too.
Jumbo.
I'm almost there.
Jambi.
Jim Reed Chevrolet Jumbo Juice.
Jumbo.
That's funny.
Hey, I've got a few here that were based off other stuff, things we've actually talked about before. There was a Dukes of Hazzard cartoon.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. That makes sense, though.
Basically, the premise of that was Roscoe and Boss Hogg chasing the Dukes around the world. There was Gilligan's Planet.
Wow. Well, yeah. I remember seeing that.
Based off Gilligan's Island in the 1980s.
You think that's on MeTV?
Maybe.
They have any animation on MeTV. I need my MeTV correspondent to email me, please, about that.
In the early 80s, there was a Mork and Mindy and Laverne and Shirley hour.
What a tie-in.
That was totally animated.
The hour, huh?
Yeah. There was a Gary Coleman cartoon. There was a Mr. T cartoon.
You see what I'm saying? All of these you're naming off are based on pre-existing things. So it's very odd. It's very seldom we come across natural cartoons.
Did you ever? Are you familiar? This is mid '80s, probably around '84, '85. The Manchuchis cartoon.
I have no idea what that is.
Manchuchis. They were a primate type creature.
Yeah, I gotcha.
They were basically like little monkeys, but they were called Manchuchis.
Yeah,
I'm the only person that remembers this.
No.
We'll look this up.
Is that like the small, almost like a squash troll?
Kind of, but it was very primate. I mean, it looked like a small monkey.
I think it's ringing a bell. Actually.
And it was a line of collectible.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking about.
Animals.
Yeah. I do remember seeing that.
And they were called Manchuchis.
Yep.
And they had a cartoon.
I remember the Manchuchis.
Because there was a lot of the networks trying to cash in on the popularity of their primetime shows by creating animated versions and also toy lines that could make cartoons based on their toy lines.
Right.
So, a lot of capitalism.
Yeah.
Was on your list?
Yeah, I've tried to find information about that, but was He-Man and Masters of the Universe ever Saturday morning, or was that strictly?
I think that was strictly afternoon.
Was that?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least when I watched. I'm sure at some point it was on Saturday mornings, but I knew through the heyday of He-Man,
right?
It was a syndicated afternoon
show.
show.
Yeah.
Same thing with G.I. Joe.
Right, and Transformers too.
And
right?
Transformers.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's that. What do you think? Like the logic behind a Saturday morning cartoon? What made them choose that? I mean, I guess your actual viewership is whenever most kids are at home on their days off from school, eating cereal, playing with toys, and it's prime time to be in front of the TV. Is that what happened there?
It was all about the money.
But at the same time, parents are there. I mean, they're people working 9 to 5, Monday through Friday jobs. Wouldn't a Saturday morning show, couldn't that be some adult programming as well? It was weird. That was the block specifically for kids. That's just odd to me.
Well,
it's not like they're the only people in the world awake watching TV at that time.
Part of it is, and I think, like, if you want to get down to the genesis of Saturday morning children's entertainment, is that to have your FCC license, TV stations would have to run X number of educational programs for children a week. And so, why not Saturday mornings? That's kind of a dead time. So that's where it kind of started.
Yeah.
And then, but
it's kind of their might as well moment.
Yeah, but even, you go back further, even stuff like Captain Kangaroo and Howdy Doody was a Saturday morning show. And then as the buying power of youth started to really present itself in the mid to late 70s and through the 1980s and really to today, but not to the extent that it determined. Now you have whole channels dedicated to children's programming. But the networks would really cash in on that. I mean, it's one of the biggest buying demographics around is the kids that they were targeting with these shows. So hold their entertainment with programming that they're going to be into, and the networks would make hand over fist dollars through the advertising during this Saturday morning block.
Makes sense.
It was 5 hours, 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours?
Yeah, around that.
Usually from, at least locally, 6 or 7 in the morning till around 11.
Yeah.
By 11:30, you'd get like CBS Story Break and stuff like that.
And this sounds weird, but you can ask my wife. I honestly still do this about once a month. I'll wake up Saturday mornings and then bring up YouTube on the TV and watch Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah.
I do it to this day.
Yeah.
It brings you back. I mean, it gives you a sense of pleasure and just warmth and comfort.
Yeah, because the programming on the networks now is terrible. It's still educational, but it's educational programming. It's not mindless children entertainment.
I read online that that kind of just drive for the marketing and the toys, and here's a toy, here's a show for that officially ended in 1992, they say.
Yeah.
And that the Saturday morning cartoon era is officially done at that point. So it's been 25 years since that existed.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
And plus, not only just, I would go out on a limb and say, without Saturday morning cartoons, McDonald's would not be the mega corporation that it is today.
Oh, that's true. Totally.
You could not watch Saturday morning cartoons without seeing Ronald McDonald every other commercial break.
Yeah.
Or the Fry Guys, or Mayor McCheese, or Grimace.
McDonald's has always had that kind of kid feel to it. The playgrounds are always a big deal for it. And I was thinking about that a few weeks ago. Do they have any McDonald's in the world left with an outdoors playground? Some have the play place, but is anything outside at all anymore?
The one in Waverly, Tennessee, I think
serious?
still has.
Has an outdoors
hometown.
Wow, I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
I think it's, unless they've remodeled and it's inside now.
I want to see that because I have fond memories of the outdoors playground at McDonald's, but now it's not a thing.
Yeah. Did we miss any great cartoons?
I'm sure we missed tons. Let us know, though. Let us know on Twitter at AdamandJP. Just give us a tweet of the things we missed. I bet there are quite a few 80s Saturday morning cartoons we didn't talk about.
And we didn't even touch the live action.
Exactly.
Saturday morning live action stuff.
Yeah.
Like Saved by the Bell.
Oh, it's true. Yeah.
Check us out, adamandjp.com. You can send us an email.
Yeah. Just AJP at adamandjp.com. You want to become a patron like Mr. Garara this week. Check out patreon.com/podcasserole. You can do that there.
Do it. Let us know. What is your favorite cartoon of all time?
Ooh, all time now.
I'm Jay Patrick. That's Adam.
Eat your podcast roll.
This has been a production of the Adam and JP family of on-demand talk radio.
AdamandJP.com.
Right now.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network, your station for all things geek, classic, current, and beyond. Be part of the crew at ESONetwork.com.